Chris sitting here trying to discuss this crazy stuff that's going on with Ja Morant. But we got other stuff we want to talk about too. We want to talk about Nikola Jokic and his MVP case. We want to talk about who the contenders are in the NBA, and we'll just keep it with NBA today, no NFL. But I guess we can start with Ja Morant. Let me give you the rundown. All right. He already now I don't like covering a topic like this because I think it, when I see one of the brothers is kind of like in trouble like this, I think the less press that they can get is actually good for them. So I don't think people need to, it's people with like huge platforms. I don't think it's gonna hurt with our small platform, but like people with like huge platforms, ESPN and stuff like that, I would rather them stay away from the topic and just let the legal stuff handle it. That's what I wanted them to do for the Kyrie stuff. Don't turn this into a whole thing, because it makes it worse. So I will hope that they do that for Ja Morant. However, I do want to go down the timeline of him opening up his big mouth, saying things like, "Hey, I'm good in the West. I ain't worried about no team in the West, right? Say I'm good out here in the West, right?" And then immediately they start losing games, and then it gets to the point where he, trying to play bad boy on the court. Just not him, his whole squad, Dylan Brooks, Bang, all them, trying to fight people on the court. They try to fight Shannon Sharp on the court. Then this stuff come out about his allegations of him hitting a 17-year-old kid and showing him a gun on his property, right? Like why get into a tussle with a 17-year-old, run in your house, go get a strap, put it in your waistband and show it to him? Like that's corny to me, right? So and then people like Shannon Sharp going out and saying things like, "Look, dude, you're not tough," and then you see resurfacing his family portrait. And I'm not talking about a picture, I'm talking about a portrait. Like who's taken a portrait before? You know what I mean? Like that's like a real, when you take a
matching
family
colors
portrait.
and everything.
Oh yeah, portrait is different than a picture. You know what I mean? A family. I don't even have a family portrait. You know what I mean? So
I actually have a family portrait. I have a family portrait.
Exactly. So
he was wearing
you know,
matching colors and everything.
So people are like, "Look, man, Ja, look, you made it, man. You don't have to get to the NBA so you can graduate to the streets. That ain't how that work, So people have been trying to warn him, and now it gets to the point where even in the midst of him having the legal battles that he's going through with him getting sued for pulling the gun on the 17-year-old kid and punching him and all that stuff, he can't even lay low enough to say, "Man, I hope I can get out of this trouble, and I'm gonna be on my P's and Q's." He had to double down after he tried to fight Shannon Sharp, and after he did all this stuff, and after the allegations about him hitting a 17-year-old kid surfaced. He wanted to go out and show Instagram, "Hey man, I'm still thugging it," and have a gun on his. I just don't understand that, right? So that's the rundown. What is your thoughts?
What's crazy is his agent and his lawyers, because they talked about him showing the gun to the kid.
Right.
His lawyers and his agents have been vehemently saying there was no gun. There was no gun. This just kind of blows a hole through that, because like, is this the same gun that the team said he saw? And then it's like, this is not. It all started with the altercation with his homeboys, his crew, his clique, and they got banned from NBA games. They got banned for life from NBA games, his crew. And at that point, it was like, that should have been a wake-up call. Like, hey, I made it. I'm at a level of superstardom. I have a lot weighing on my name. I'm not this guy. And people have found the receipts that he is not this guy. I.e. the family portrait. You know what I'm saying? People have made videos, memes, remixed the 8 Mile freestyle battle that Eminem had against Clarence.
Yeah.
With both parents and a real good marriage. You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
is that why he feel like he needs to show us that he is thugging it, because everybody's saying he's not?
It doesn't matter. Nobody cares if you're a thug or a square in the NBA. We care that you put numbers on the boards and that you make and win championships. We don't care about that. And you just got a signature shoe deal. You just released your first shoe with Nike.
Which is ironic. Which is ironic because Nike made it a point to all right, as soon as we drop Kyrie, I'm gonna show you that, look, man, we can keep it moving, and we're gonna go get another point guard and sign him almost in the place of Kyrie and give him a signature shoe. So they dropped Kyrie for a tweet, but here you got this guy that's beating up 17-year-old kids, walking around with a thug persona and flashing guns on Instagram Live.
And I feel
Pretty
like this
weird.
is way worse
It is
than
way
what
worse.
Kyrie did. Kyrie never put hands on nobody. Kyrie never flashed a gun.
Never put hands on
This
somebody. Kyrie never tried to fight nobody on the court. Kyrie never tried to fight somebody in the stands.
never. Kyrie didn't have a crew that was messing up his reputation and got banned from games for life.
None of that.
But we're just now getting a 2-game. It's not even a suspension. They haven't even labeled it a suspension. They just said that Ja Morant is going to be away from the team for at least 2 games. Why? What's all the sugarcoat?
Yeah.
When Kyrie was away from the team, Kyrie was suspended.
Because they don't want to give him the kiss of death. You can tell they don't want to give him the kiss of death. Right? They're trying to be as easy on him as possible. The kiss of death would be what they gave Kyrie. Like how the heck Kyrie done got the kiss of death twice in 2 years and still standing and still about to get a contract. That shows you that all that was BS.
Mm-hmm.
Now they gave him the kiss of death for his stance against the mandate, against the vax mandate, right? You know, that was supposed to bury him. Then they came back this year and tried to give him a kiss of death again when they suspended him indefinitely, and was like, man, we go make you walk 1,000 miles on your knees and beg before we let you come back in the league. You know, and imagine that. Imagine that your personality, or not your personality, but what you stand for. You're such a good guy that is, as hard as the media tries to throw dirt on your name, they just can't bury Kyrie. They can't.
Mm-hmm.
He's too good of a player and he's too good of a person. Like, you know, like if this was if Kyrie was doing stuff with what Chad Ochocinco and T.O. was doing, it'd be easy. Right? Mm-hmm. They can't bury this kid, man. He not even doing what Kaepernick did.
Yeah.
Like
you never even heard a bad thing from teammates. Like
no.
all his teammates said they love Kyrie. Even Boston with that whole debacle, he still has a great relationship with most of those guys.
Yeah.
Marcus
Facts.
Smart, Tatum, you know what I'm saying? He
Tatum,
still got
Brown, all of them.
All
of them. Property coaches too.
You can't go out there and besmear somebody's name when their reputation is like you see how many people would like stood up with Kyrie, like, nah, this is like y'all making him out to be somebody that he's not.
Right. Very interesting, man. But with the 2-game suspension, it seemed like they're trying to investigate. I don't know what they're investigating. Are they trying to find out if that was actually a real gun? If it was a real gun, then was it registered? And, you know, did you have it when you was out at the club concealed? Like, you know, I guess they're trying to investigate to see if he broke any laws, or if he crossed any NBA policy, right? Which he probably didn't. The only thing this really is a black eye for him, especially in the midst of what is going on with his civil suit. And it's a black eye for the NBA because a player that's a face of their league is doing something so stupid. But I don't think he broke any laws though. So we'll see what come from it. I mean, how you think it's gonna turn out?
I don't think it's gonna be too much on Ja. I think this 2-game suspension will probably serve as they'll probably call it time served. They'll probably, you know, issue a fine maybe. The leagues are real good at putting out fines, but I don't think it's gonna be too much. I don't think it's gonna be like a indefinite suspension or, you know, he'll be there for the playoffs for sure. And I'm thinking,
you think this is the last that we go see of him doing some stupid stuff, some gangster stuff?
Probably not. I think it's gonna take probably some hefty consequences for him to finally get the message.
You think he really in the streets?
No. I think
he in Memphis. He in Memphis, man. Memphis is like that.
I understand he's in Memphis, but I think it's the fact that, you know what? Probably if he didn't get drafted by Memphis, we probably wouldn't hear about none of this. Because think about, as soon as you go to Memphis, right? As soon as you go to Memphis, Yo Gotti is there, Moneybag Yo is there. That whole scene. They brought him in. They chill outside of games. They dap up at the games. All types of, you know what I'm saying? So, and I'm not even thinking, I'm not even saying that Yo Gotti and Moneybag be in the streets like that as well, but they live and they make their money off of that persona because, you know, that's what they rap about in their raps. So they
Right.
give the persona that they're in there like that. And then John Moran is now included with those guys. He hangs out with those guys, and now he's kind of like, I don't know, man. Feel like he want to
I,
be
you,
a
you know what?
rapper.
I think his dad want to be in that mix too.
Well, ever since
I think
they told him that he looked like Usher, he ain't been
yeah,
right.
he just it's like he. I mean, I
Especially
don't know, man.
with that scuffle with Shannon Sharp. That's what kind of like maybe Ja is stemming off of that too. You know what I'm saying? Like you seen your dad getting ready to go toe to toe with a Hall of Famer. But it wouldn't really be told. Shannon Sharp would have mopped the court with him.
I don't know, man.
Let's just be
Shannon
honest.
Sharp seemed like John Coffey type. I don't even think he step on cockroaches, man. I think Shannon Sharp is like that, man. I mean that little dog he got, that little
I saw
Shih Tzu.
that.
And I wouldn't be surprised if when he go home he take his shoes off and put them feet right into some some Paris Hilton slippers or something like that, man, and bubble bath it up with a little mimosa or something like that, man. Shannon just don't strike me as the type of dude that's go put his mitts on you and choke the life out of you. I don't think he about that.
I think he's more about that than Ja.
Yeah, he got suspended for being on Instagram Live and you know he had like a gun, like, you know, he wasn't like pointing and stuff like that. He just like he brandished the gun. You know, he flashed it. For what reason I don't know. Like, and that was a little Saturday night special with that, man. It wasn't even know, you know what I mean? Like it's something you get your old lady when she first started shooting. And you take her to the gun range and you know it's pink. You know what I mean? Hey, look, man, this you can fit this in your little cowboy boot. Want nobody know you got it. You know what I mean? Or your UGG. You can fit this in the UGG. You know, it's one of those little things, man. And he brandishing that like, hey, man, you know, I'm like, come on,
He
man.
ain't had no real gun, no man's gun.
This man had a Saturday night special, man. The clip was in his daddy's car or something like that. I don't know, man. I wouldn't. I don't think it's worth trying to have that persona. It's like now I understand when you grew up in that and you came from that and your whole family is like that, right? And when you're very young, kind of like how Iverson was, it's kind of hard to tell the people you grew up with that protected you and made sure you could make it and kept you out of trouble and all these things right here. It's kind of hard to tell those guys, all right, thank y'all for helping me out. Now I'm pro. I'm not dealing with y'all no more. Now I'm not saying do that, but in Ja Morant's case, I don't think he even grew up like that. So he didn't make it out of the gutter, and then it's just hard for him to separate himself from his friends. He made it pro, and then looked at the gutter and was like, now I can go out and be gutter. Like, because I always wanted to
That
do
looks
this in high
interesting.
school, but I couldn't. But now that I made it, now I can go to the streets and be gutter because they accept me now because I got money. You get what I'm saying?
Terrible.
Jay said the whole family soft, man. He said he was a private school kid. He probably was homeschooled too.
He was a private school kid. I remember seeing the
Yeah.
picture.
So the gutter, like, where's the gutter at?
In that family portrait, he has khaki shorts and boat shoes. Like
Penny
for
loafers with
real.
no socks. I didn't even know. I couldn't even tell you where to get the penny loafers from back then.
I don't believe it, man. Like the way he's acting, you got too much money to be acting gutter. Like I don't understand.
Yeah. What you mean if he was from Texas, nobody would care? What do you mean? Hold on, I'm this is what I'm gonna do, man, because I'm gonna put the phone number up. It's right there, bottom left, 336-456-6453. Call in, man. Let me know what y'all think about this Ja Morant situation before we move to the next topic. But I mean, the whole notion that somebody that's not from the streets would turn to the streets once they make it into being a millionaire is just beyond me. I just can't understand that one for the life of me at all, man. at all. John needs to reevaluate his life. People look at the social media with him and the gun, and people will believe he's guilty of the recent allegations. Yeah, that's what we were saying. Like he got an ongoing civil suit right now. That if I'm the lawyer of the 17-year-old kid who's probably 18 now, if I'm his lawyer and I see that you're fighting people inside your NBA arena, you're trying to start fights, you're throwing up gang signs when when you hit threes and dunk, you got the gang initiated 3 cuts in your eyebrow. Like, it's not hard for FBI to figure out what that is, right? You probably got some tattoos that's got that show some affiliation, and then you flashing your gun on IG. This is look. If I'm the lawyer, I'm at home like, oh my God, we about to get into some money.
Mm-hmm. I'm pulling all of this.
Yeah. His sister can hoop too. Yeah, his sister can hoop.
And she looked just like Ja with a lace front.
She do look like Ja. She do look like Ja, man.
I
Now,
said it on
if
Twitter. It was-
if I'm remembering correctly, did his mom pass when he was a kid?
I don't know, but I ain't seen him since he been in the lead. I ain't seen her since he been in the
Yeah,
league.
I think his. Let me look that up, because I think his mom passed. Okay, yeah, I think his mom passed at some point, which is sad. But that would kind of make sense to because I don't if like if I'm Josh's dad, it'd be real hard for me to try to be a playboy and act like one and dress like one as a married man. But his dad might be like he might be a loose cannon out there.
I don't think she did, bro.
He don't have to check in when he goes to those cities. But Buddy Sauce. You said you don't think she passed?
No,
I think she did.
No, I'm not saying anything saying she passed. I just don't think her and his dad are together.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe that's what it is then. But she's not around. She's not around for sure.
Yeah, I'm not seeing nothing saying that she's deceased.
I don't know. I don't even know if Nike would drop him right now. Because what would they drop him for? And they just dropped Kyrie. I don't think they want to be knee jerk on this one. Now dropping Kyrie was all right. So now we're about to go down the rabbit hole and get deep. But I'm only gonna stay here for like 2 or 3 minutes and then we'll move. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. If they would drop him for brandishing his gun, that would also mean that they have a problem with a thug persona in an athlete, which we know Nike don't have a problem with, right? They really don't. If they did, they would have never signed Ja Morant. So they don't have a problem with him doing thug stuff as long as he didn't break any laws by brandishing that gun. So if he don't break no laws, I think they're fine with that. They're fine with a thug persona as long as you stay out of trouble, right? Because now they're actually marketing kids who adopt that same persona as well. I want them to buy those sneakers. So they're fine with that. The only reason why they got rid of Kyrie Irving is because of the community that he quote unquote offended. That was part of his punishment, from that community. That's what that was all about. Ja Morant ain't saying nothing about that community. They no way, no shape, no fashion have an issue with thugs. We want thugs because we want to sell shoes to thugs, right? Just don't get in trouble. Just act like a thug, pretend you're a thug, and we can sell your shoes to thugs and people who act and think like you. But if just don't do no real thug stuff and get in trouble, because then we'll be forced to let you go. That makes sense. Oh, so she's still alive. I'm sorry. Well, God forgive me for even putting that on his mom name like that, man. I apologize for that.
Still together?
Yeah.
I've never seen her at the game.
Yeah, I ain't
Maybe
either.
she used to play. She used
to play or was it Ivy's mom?
No, I just read that she used to play too.
So Ivy that played for Detroit, what's his name?
Jaden
Jaden
Ivey.
Ivey. His
His
mom is
mom
a
was
coach, and she used to
Was
coach
she?
Morant and Ivy. Correct? Yeah, I think that's what it is. That makes sense that his mom played. Maybe that's how he know
It said
Jaden
it
Ivey's
said
mom.
it, it said that she used to play though. John Morant's mom, because her name is Jamie Morant.
Yeah. Jay said she a point guard.
I don't know if it was WNBA, but
Yeah.
now
Well,
Jaden Ivey's
nonetheless,
mom played in the WNBA.
yeah. Well, nonetheless, man, that's I mean that's unfortunate for Ja, but I think he'll be able to straighten it up, man, because he ain't getting in a lot of trouble. It just look bad. He's not in no trouble. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
his mom coach
but
Notre Dame. Yeah.
Ja's
So
mom or
anyway,
Jaden Ivey.
but Ja Morant that was in action last night. They played against Denver. They got
And he
clapped.
does
It
not
was
look good in the West.
he said it was
He
good
does
out
not look
west,
good in
right?
the West.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It ain't looking good out west for real.
they were
They
when I tuned in, they were up by like 8 or 10 in the
yeah
third,
yeah.
and
And then
then
and then Dylan Brooks. Now, so this is the thing that I don't like, right? Brooks after a bucket Denver got, they was running the court, and Jokic got in his face and was barking. And of course, Dylan Brooks didn't back down, but Dylan Brooks didn't. He wasn't like barking at him like that. He was just walking up court, jogging up court. Jokic was turning around and getting in his face. And the way the commentators, describe what was going on was if Dylan Brooks was the initiator of that. And then Dylan Brooks ended up getting his 16th tech. He'll serve a 1-game suspension for that because that's the rule. And Jokic didn't get no tech. And I'm like, and then to hear Richard Jeffers and who else was calling that game say, yeah, you don't mess with the other team's best player, which is true because right after that tech, that's when Denver went on their run. But the way they talked about it, like Dylan Brooks got in Jokic's face and Jokic just didn't. But no, it was the other way around. Jokic got in his face. So I'm like, God, like they really pushing a narrative with this dude, man. But just to
that
speak
should
on
have
the
at least been
MVP
double
stuff,
text.
it should have been double text. But just to speak on the MVP stuff, because I did a video on it the other day. Kendrick Perkins seemed to think that Jokic don't deserve the MVP, number one, and he said he think he's stat padding. And then Draymond Green came out and said that he think that European players are getting a pass when it comes to media scrutiny on them not winning big games, playoff series, and rings. What's your thoughts?
I agree. I feel like Jokic probably deserved one of the two that he got, which was probably the first one. And I don't think, I mean, of course he's going to be in the running, but he stole an MVP from Embiid. I wholeheartedly believe that. And if Embiid doesn't get it this year, he stole another one. I feel like the things that Embiid is doing and has done, and how he has the Sixers operating right now, the fact that we're not talking about Embiid as an MVP front runner is ridiculous. Why? Because Jokic puts up triple double. We saw that. Russell Westbrook, and if that was the case, then Russell Westbrook should have got an MVP every year he averaged a triple double. Jokic is not even averaging a triple double for a season. Westbrook did it for 3 years straight. So why are we giving so much extra credit to Jokic? Because he's a center, he's 7 foot doing this. No, it's nothing special. It was a nice trick the first year. You got your MVP, cool. You've been eliminated. You made it to the conference finals. No, did they make it to the conference? No, it was Dallas in the conference finals.
No, they never made it to the conference finals. No.
Yeah, you haven't even made it to the conference finals yet. And I understand, regular season awards, but you gotta account postseason success. And these guys have not been successful in the postseason. They got bounced in 5 games by Golden State last year. With
Draymond Green locking them up.
Yeah, it's a terrible showing. You got Jamal Murray back this year. That's gonna be cool. Michael Porter's balling out. That's nice. You got some support characters. If they don't win it all this year, I mean, everything is set up for Denver to make a run. Golden State is banged up. John Morant in Memphis can't close games, and they got their own issues that they're dealing with. Phoenix, although 2 games in, they've won. We don't know if that's going to translate to playoff success as much as I want to, because I'm a Kevin Durant fan. But we don't know if that's going to translate to a long run in the playoffs. So everything is set up for Denver to make a run to the finals. If they don't win, if they don't at least make it to the finals this year, I don't want to hear nothing else about Jokic MVP or Denver is the cream of the crop in the West, because they can't finish the job.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. Jay said Europeans are looking for a Rocky type hero in the NBA, and the defense that they don't play don't matter, which is true, man. Like, I was my homeboy SB with his show. I was listening to his show last night. Real Takes Over Fake Debates. Check him out on YouTube. But he was talking about the same thing, and in the comment section, I mentioned something about the defense, and I was like, "Look, man, like." It's two sides of the ball, and you got some players that are playing both of them, both sides of the ball at the elite level. That shows me value on the offensive end and value on the defensive end, right? And it translates to something, right? You know, and I mentioned that, and most of the people in his comment section said defense doesn't matter when it comes to MVPs because defense is for the Defensive Player of the Year award. And I thought that was, I really thought that was a bad thing to say, because we're talking about basketball and we're talking about value, right? And you can't talk about basketball and not talk about both ends of the floor, right? So if I got one player doing one end of the floor to the fullest and I got another player doing both ends of the floor to the fullest, it's a no-brainer for me which one is more valuable. I'm valuable on both ends of the floor, right? I understand we have a Defensive Player of the Year award, but that doesn't mean that we can't consider defense when we're thinking about a most valuable player. Right. So for me, it doesn't matter if you argue that Jokic is providing value for Denver on the defensive end, because Denver is not that good of a defensive team. So you leading a trash defense. OK, good. Well, this guy's leading an elite defense, and he's elite on defense, and he's leading an elite offense and an elite team who actually has a better record than you. I value that more than I value a triple-double, points, rebounds, and assists. I value that because I know to get a triple-double, you're going to have to do one thing, right? Which is I'm going to have to, if I want the assist, I'm going to have to be a ball handler. And if I want the points, I'm going to have to be a scorer. Me personally, I think you need to choose one. So whenever I see someone playing that style where they're the primary ball handler or a ball handler that has the ball a lot, and you're the primary scorer, I'm like, oh, you got to get one of those roles up. You got players on your team. Jamal Murray could really do that. Like, they're not even using Michael Porter Jr. that well. They're just using him as a catch and shoot 3-point shooter.
Yep, catch and shoot.
Like, what other, like, you're giving all the roles to one guy, and that's only helping his stats. And then, you know, the argument they make is, well, they're 26-0 when he has a triple-double. Hey, okay.
It makes me cringe when I see Jokic bring the ball up. It's so ugly. Like, it makes my skin crawl watching him bring the ball up. Like, bro, you're 7 foot, bro.
And what's the value in him doing it? I know he can pass, but what's the value? Like the point guards you have on your team, Jamal Murray, Reggie Jackson, you had Bones Highland at some point. I'm trying to figure out what about them is so bad that you would rather your 7-footer run the fast break.
Who can't even run? You seen him run?
I mean, I ain't gonna clown him too hard. I watched him last night, and he can move a little bit.
He can move. Dunk. You're a 7-footer.
That's fine.
I'm
cool with that.
I'm not.
I'm cool with that. I like Jokic's game. I love his game. I don't have anything bad to say about his game. My only critique is the style of play, and it's not even really a critique. It's just me saying, okay, I know he's averaging a triple double, and I know that makes a lot of people excited and tickle their fancy. But the triple double is a depreciating, inflated stat right now. It
And
used
you
to be
think Russ
something.
was that.
Yeah, it used to mean something. Like I'm gonna tell you how bad the triple double is. When Russ first did it, we was like, oh my God, nobody's averaged a triple double since Oscar. We got to give him the MVP,
Mhm.
right? And then when he did it the second year, that was like, I don't think the triple double actually mean what we think it mean. Like, because
Mhm.
it's not really translating the wins. They're getting bounced in the first round of the playoffs. He's playing horrible. He can't get a triple double in the playoffs. We see that people are moving out the way for him to get rebounds. So that was like, yeah, we done with that. So he didn't get, and everybody was like, well, if he got a MVP for getting a triple double last year, why y'all not getting it to him this year, right? And then he got it the third year, still wasn't in the consideration. And then he left and went to the Wizards and averaged another triple double. So he's done it so many times where everybody was like, look, we good, man. Like, we're not impressed by that no more. But now that Jokic do it, oh, now it's impressive again.
Oh my God, this center, man. Listen, I blame the fact that we've gone to positionless basketball. It makes everybody think that they can do everything. I don't know when exactly we went to this point, but positional basketball means you just got five guys out there, no matter the size, no matter the skill set, anybody can play any position, and that is given Jokic the idea that, man, I'm 6'11", 7 foot, but I can run point, I can handle the ball, and the triple double only bolstered that thought. Like, man, I got a triple double. I can really be the primary ball handler, and the fact that Michael Malone is allowing this to happen is a knock on his coaching. You
Yeah.
have how many point guards? Two. You got Jamal Murray,
They
Reggie
got
Jackson,
two that plays,
and
but they got more than
yeah,
two. They got at least three.
and capable point guards. Reggie Jackson ain't no bum. Reggie Jackson is a hell of a point guard. Jamal Murray is a good point guard. So why are you constantly? And I've seen it where like Jamal Murray will inbound it, or Jokic will inbound it into Jamal, and he'll pass it right back to Jokic. Like, why
You,
are
you
y'all allowing this to happen?
you know what they got in Denver? If you really think about it and look at it,
What?
they got what San Antonio had. Jokic would be Tim Duncan. Jamal Murray would be Tony Parker, and Michael Porter Jr. could be
Bruce
Kawhi
Brown, Bruce Bowen.
or Kawhi or Ginobili, some like some real offense, So Ginobili, Kawhi, or Steven Jackson or whoever was in that offensive role with San Antonio. But the only difference is the offense was ran through the point guard Tony Parker when he was in San Antonio, and
Mhm.
and played in the post with Tim Duncan. And what they're doing here is they're running it, letting Jokic run the point and the post. So he get to do both. He get to play the Tony Parker and the Duncan role at times, and then sometimes Jamal Murray can play the Tony Parker role, or sometimes he's off the ball. So so that's one thing. But I wanted to mention what you said about positionless basketball. That definition of positionless makes no sense, because as long as the basketball court is the same and the rims are the same, they're always going to be a position, right? Because position by definition means where you're at on the court. And power forwards occupy the lane, centers occupy the center of the lane, and the guards occupy the perimeter. So whoever is on the perimeter or on the post or in the paint is playing a position, a position relative to the rim. You get what I'm saying? Like, so
How many
it's
times have you seen
impossible.
that this year?
Well, I mean, but like I said, it's not positionless. It's just that no one is playing the center position. Everybody's playing the guard position. So it's not positionless. It's just one position. Everybody's on the perimeter, so everybody's playing one position,
Which is still terrible. It's
which
still
is
terrible.
which is terrible,
So
man.
we're not playing positionless basketball. We're playing one position basketball.
One position basketball. We're playing
Goodness gracious, man.
wing, which is just wings. Yeah, this is wing stop. The NBA is wings. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. The NBA is wing
They
stop,
should
man. It's
they should
just
go ahead and just
wings.
change it from point guard and shooting guard to wing one, wing two,
Yeah,
wing
exactly.
three.
That's all it is. Wing is just wing stop, no thighs, no drums.
It's all wings, man.
Oh man. All
When
right,
would you
man.
say
Let's
we
get
got to this point?
um David Stern. David Stern wanted more
Like
scoring. Like
around what time? Because I still remember back to the basket bigs. I remember uh, power forwards that was still doing their thing. Guards being just guards. But like around what time do you think it transferred from that to what we see now?
um let's say MJ got his last ring in 96. He came back in what 2000, 2001 maybe. He came back in 2001.
He got his last ring in '98.
98.
Mm-hmm.
It couldn't have been 98.
He got his last ring in '98.
Oh, the first three-peat was 91, 92, 93. He took 2 years out. Okay, 95, 96, 97, 98. Okay, 98. And he came back in 2001, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then he retired again in 2003. Then you got Kobe, Shaq. That was still good. Duncan running. I think around the time LeBron
Went to Miami.
Around the time LeBron went to Miami is when it started to change.
That's what I was feeling because you still had it in '08 when the Celtics won.
Mm-hmm.
With Rondo running point, KG, you know what I'm saying, that team, Pert, when he was relevant.
Yeah.
I was thinking around the same time, Miami and LeBron, right around when he went over there is when we kind of started seeing that transfer.
Yeah, and this is the LeBron style. This is look, I'm a great ball handler. I can get to the rim. Nobody can stop me from getting to the rim. And if the lane is wide open and I got shooters on the perimeter, you can't double me. If you do, I can make any pass on the floor, which is what LeBron is. He's a special player, right? So you bring in Chris Bosh. Hey, look, Chris Bosh, all in Toronto, was a post player. He came and played with LeBron. He was like, look, I need that lane open, big dog. So Chris Bosh became a 3-point shooter and a jump shooter. Mm-hmm. Lane was wide open, and the rest is history. They got 2 out of 4 rings for that, right? So that blueprint was made, and then people started copying it. Steve Nash was kind of doing it a little bit, but not at the level where LeBron was doing it because he can't score in the paint as well as LeBron driving. But his superpower was that screen and roll with Amari. So I'm screen and roll with Amari, and if I get Amari on the roll, that's a dunk. But if you try to stop that roll, he can make the pass to the 3-point shooter. So Nash and LeBron kind of was running the same system, but slightly different, right? And you seen what it did for Nash. It got him 2 MVPs in a row.
We ain't gonna talk about those.
Exactly. The Phoenix Suns had a great record. There was a playoff team for years. And Nash put up a lot of numbers, and people shot a lot of threes with him in that D'Antoni system. So that's kind of what adopted. Everybody was like, shoot, we could do this. And David Stern at that time was wanting to transition and find more points out there and more offense, and they was creating rules. Okay, now we got the defensive 3 in the key and all this good stuff, right? You see, I mean, like everything changed, and then the rules changed, and it was just a perfect storm, man.
Real quick, the way you describe LeBron is there's another player in the league right now that plays just like that. Can you name him?
Hold on. I was reading. Wait. Hold that thought. He said Dragan Petrovic, a legend, rest in peace. Divock Kukoc. I recommend to see the movie Once Upon a Time. Brothers Yugoslavia won the championship, and then everyone cried because the war in Balkan countries. Basketball is a religion there, and today the best players in the world are also from Balkans. Nikola Jokic, Luka Doncic. Awesome. Okay. All right. Give me that. Post that link, man. I check that documentary out. But go ahead. My bad. Go ahead.
I was saying, can you name the player that plays just like that, the way you described LeBron?
Now Harden did it in Houston.
Westbrook did it. The rim running and passing out to the 3 if he didn't have it.
Yeah, I'm telling you, Harden did it in Houston, right? Westbrook did it in OKC, and Luka Doncic was doing it before Kyrie showed up.
Giannis.
Yeah, but so Giannis did it more 2 years ago when Drew Holiday showed up. He does it a little bit less. He still does it. He still does it when he gets the ball and runs the break on a off a rebound. But he don't do it in a half court setting as much as he used to, right? Um, so he'll rather go down low and play be like a real power forward. So it's a little different. Giannis kind of backed off of playing like that.
You know, I seen somebody say that Giannis is a better scorer and a better playmaker than Kevin Durant.
He's not well. He's definitely not a better scorer. Playmaker. Um,
And my the reason the
it
way I
might be
responded, it was like the way I responded was like, you can't call rim running and kicking out when you don't got it. Playmaking. That's not playmaking.
it is play it is playmaking, but
No,
so
bro,
look
that's
so look
bailing out.
okay, so it is that too. But I was a person who all right, put it this way. In 8th grade, I couldn't shoot a lick. I mean, I'm talking about I used to my pull-ups, I came from behind my head. I remember shooting and hitting straight backboard from a mid-range before. In 8th grade. In 8th grade.
Like
But
Russell
what I could do was dribble and pass and play defense. And I was hell on the fast break, right? So before I could shoot, if I couldn't get a layup, my other go-to thing was passing. And that's why I was so good at passing. Like, man, people like, man, you can pass. But what I knew in my head is I'm passing because I know I can't shoot it. You get what I'm saying? So yeah, am I making a play? I'm making a play out of necessity. But what happens when you can hit any shot on the floor, like Jordan, Kobe, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, that shot is better than whoever can get a shot that you go pass it to. Like I can see Danny Green in the corner for 3, but if I'm Kevin Durant and I'm 7 foot and I get to my spot for a mid range, I trust my mid range with a hand in my face more than I trust a wide open 3 with this guy with all the pressure on him. And that's how scorers think. Why would I make that pass what everybody calls the right play? Why would I make that pass if I'm more confident in this shot that I got right here?
I still
You
think
get what I'm
Kevin
saying?
Durant is a better playmaker. Yeah, but I still think Kevin Durant is a better playmaker. Like,
yeah, but he don't
call-
make plays as much though, because he don't need to. The play he's making is his shot.
And the only reason why Giannis has the volume that he does is because he rim runs and kicks out when he ain't got it.
Yeah, I mean that's
that
obvious.
doesn't make him a better playmaker.
But he's still making a play. That's why I said it's debatable. It's a conversation that to be had with that, because Giannis can pass.
So who's the better player? Because I heard people say that Giannis is better than KD now, and I was ready to fight.
Nah, KD is hands down better than Giannis. But when people argue who's a better player, like I heard Nick Wright the other day was talking, and he was like, yeah, he was like, I have Kevin Durant number 16 all time behind Moses Malone. I got Moses Malone at 15. I got Steph at 13. That's what he said, right? And this was all time. Then he said, but if Kevin Durant wins with Phoenix, I move him past Moses, and then the conversation can be had with Curry. Now, when you hear a person say that, what they're arguing is resumes, because there's nothing that Kevin Durant can do that's going to make me think he's a better player than I already think he is. My opinion of him as a player is already set. Mm-hmm. So only thing that's set. The only thing that can change is his accomplishments and his resumes. So when I'm judging who a better player is, I'm not judging their resumes. I'm judging them on the floor, capabilities, abilities, what I've seen them do, what I observed them do, right? Mm-hmm. Right. So I can judge who the better player is just by saying who the better player is. And then if I start bringing in the accomplishments in the resume, that's only to support what my eyes already showed me. Like if I say Kevin Durant is unstoppable, and you say, well, look, he gets stopped every year in the playoffs, then I gotta rethink if he is unstoppable really. But remember, Nick Wright is only arguing resumes. that's why the
Yeah.
conversation is such a debate, because you got some people who's talking purely basketball, and then you got other people that's talking purely resume.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like,
Which
think about that. That man said I'll move Kevin Durant up if he win another ring.
I want to know who the other 12 people are that's in front of him.
Oh man, you don't want to see
I
Nick
can I
Wright's
can
list.
name three because it's probably LeBron, Kobe, and Jordan. Probably Bill Russell in there. But who, like 16th? That's
Well,
crazy.
I know his top three was I know he just moved Jordan down to 4 now. He got LeBron, Kareem, and he got somebody else at 3. It might be Wilt, and he got MJ at 4. He just started. He made that list this year.
Yeah, I can't stand Nick Wright.
You put
I
MJ
can't.
at 4.
Man, he just pride himself on disrespect, man. Because
Yeah. That's how it is. He'll shock
that
jock.
list is a crock of shit, man.
He'll shock jock, man. That's all it is, man. That's all it is. But
Who you
yeah,
got coming out the East and West?
that's interesting. So East, I'm gonna have to give it to Milwaukee. I have no faith in the Philadelphia Sixers. I have no faith in. So I think Eastern Conference Finals will be Giannis and Boston again,
Okay.
right? So we'll see how they go. It could be Boston. It could be the Bucks, but the Sixers are going nowhere fast. They're not going
Who
nowhere.
you think
Like
the problem is in Philly?
their leaders. Their leaders are. I mean, like you either got it or you don't, right?
Mhm.
And when you got it, winning finds you somehow. When you don't got it, something's always going to come in the way for you to lose. And that something can be anything. It can be an injury. It can be. It could just be the wrong bounce. Like it just is what it is. If you got it, you don't, right? And we already know the people who got it, right? Stuff start clicking for them and everything. The Clippers don't got it. Something's going on. It's just not gonna click. Clippers don't got it. Brooklyn Nets didn't have it at all, but they start clicking. So maybe they could have got it if they didn't do the trade. But Philly and James Harden and Joel Embiid, it's
You
just not
think
in
it's
the
the
cards for them.
players or you think it's coaching?
And no, I think it's Harden and Embiid.
I blame Doc.
Okay, let me hear it.
Doc, he got that one ring in 08 with Boston, but what has he done since? He never took Clippers to the conference finals with a stacked team for years. He come to Philly with a diamond in the hand and can't get to the conference finals. It's got to be there's it's the correlation. It's the common factor is Doc Rivers. And with the team that he had in Boston, you only got one ring out of that. Granted, it was Kobe in the West, but still, you only got one
Well,
ring out of that team that you had.
he got one ring because Kevin Garnett got hurt and it took him out of his prime. Kevin Garnett was a big piece of that puzzle, and they couldn't replace that. Like Kevin Garnett, after his knee injury, he was never KG again. Right.
So explain LA and Philly then.
Well, let me start with Boston. Boston was a perfect storm. That roster was built amazing, right? So you got a big three, and then you got two young players, Rondo and Kendrick Perkins, that was perfect for the role, because Rondo was a guy who could score, who was athletic, who could run the team, who was bullheaded. Like he was the perfect point guard for that, because he wasn't trying to score and look for his shot, but he could get it. And then Kendrick Perkins just didn't have the skill to really post up, so he was just out there to rebound and block shots and play defense. It was perfect. And then you come off the bench with these veterans. You had Sam Cassell, who could shoot it and who could run a team and who was smart and who had championship experience. You had Eddie House, shooter. You had James Posey, 3 and D, smart. You had PJ Brown hitting that mid-range jump shot, rebounding, and playing defense. It was the perfect squad. And they won a championship, and Sam Cassell retired. James Posey didn't get re-signed. PJ Brown retired. And then KG got hurt the next season. No. They made it to the championships. They still made it to the championship, and they lost to Kobe, and then KG got hurt the next season. So they got to the championship twice, and they lost too many people, and then KG got hurt.
Okay. Who did LA play in 2010? Was it Boston again?
They played Boston 2 times in a row, and then they played Orlando and beat Dwight Howard and Temple. Yeah.
Beat the. Whew.
Yeah, they did. Man. Yeah, they did. But Orlando beat LeBron James, and they was 66-16 that year, and lost to Orlando.
Yeah, but I mean, I saw that coming. Orlando was a way better put together team than Cleveland was.
I ain't see it coming.
You didn't? What? That was prime Dwight Howard, which people were comparing him to Shaq at that point.
It was.
You know what I'm saying? You had Hito, Jameer Nelson.
Jameer Nelson had got hurt though.
Did he?
They had Ray for Austin. Jameer Nelson got hurt in the playoffs, I think, or right before the playoffs. They had Ray for Austin for that run. They got lucky because they had Ray for Austin. Got lucky. Yeah, they got lucky.
And
they got lucky.
Rashard Lewis. Yup.
Michael Petrie.
Yup.
Michael Petrie.
They were. And who did LeBron have?
Delonte West, Mo Williams, Big Z,
Daniel Gibson. Did he have Daniel Gibson?
Boobie Gibson, yeah, Boobie Gibson.
And he was so disappointed. He was supposed to have a better career than what he did.
Damon Jones was hitting them threes. They had a squad. Yeah. They had a squad.
Yeah.
Now after that,
Orlando was more put together though.
Yeah. So Doc did what he could do with that Boston team. He got them to the finals twice. KG got hurt, and they never made it back. And then they was out of their prime.
I'll start them off for the Boston joint, but please explain LA and Philly.
It was injuries every time. It was either when the playoffs started, either it was Chris Paul or Blake Griffin that was hurt.
Okay. That team was still that team was still too stacked to not make the conference finals at least. Like every year it's a second round exit. He's a career second round coach. He can only get you to the second round, and that's it.
It's some coaches that can't even get you to the playoffs though.
I don't think Doc deserves the. He's still a good coach. He got the ring.
When the last time he missed the playoffs?
Oh, that's a good point. But
put it this way.
If there was championships for making the playoffs, then everybody would have 11,000 rings.
Put it this way. Every good coach or every great coach is losing their star player away from being an average to below average coach. You don't hear anything from Greg Popovich no more now that he don't have a Tim Duncan or a Kawhi Leonard. Right? He couldn't even do what he needed. Tim Duncan and Kawhi, or Tim Duncan and David Robinson, to do what he did. And then when he downgraded just a little bit to DeMar DeRozan and LaMarcus Aldridge, he couldn't even do nothing for him.
Yeah.
Right. So if Popovich, as good as he is, if he needs a Duncan and a Kawhi, or a Duncan and a Robinson, or a Duncan and Ginobili and Parker, if you look at Rivers, okay, all right, he got Kawhi and PG right now, and they in the playoffs and they getting out of the first round every year. It's okay not to be able to get over the hump. Jerry Sloan, great coach, had stopped them alone for years. Couldn't get over the hump. Got to the finals twice, but that was about it.
Well, considering that the hump was Michael Jordan.
Hey, Michael Jeffrey Jordan, man. So a lot of people couldn't get over that hump. Larry Bird was a good coach in Indiana. Had Reggie Miller, Rick Smits, and Jalen Rose. Couldn't get past that black cat.
Yeah, that's a pretty impassable hump.
Yeah,
to say the least.
Yeah, it's hard to send to go home.
I just think that the situation in Philly, granted, the East is, you got some powerhouses over there in Milwaukee and Boston, some very well put together teams, probably a little more put together than Philly. But you have the runner-up the last 2 years in MVP. You have a different James Harden, who's a pass first guy now, because he's only putting up like at max like 20 points a game. He's really focusing on the passing first aspect now.
Okay.
And you got bench players, you got role players. I don't understand, and good role players at that. Tyrese Maxey is coming into his own. You got role players. I don't understand, and good.
Oh, my
Did
bad.
you
Go ahead.
clip
Go
me
ahead.
already?
No. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm listening.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think Philly missed their window.
I would say so.
I think Philly missed their window, especially now that you got Boston and Milwaukee, and they're gonna have these cores for those teams for a good few years to come.
Yeah.
I think you probably just got to give up on the Philly experiment and start
And
from
when you say
scratch.
give up, what you mean? You mean get rid of Harden and Embiid, or what? Or because me personally, I think Harden is I would trade him.
I would trade both of them.
You would trade Embiid and start over? Why?
Yeah, definitely. You obviously what you have now is not working. So go in the rebuild.
You still got to sell tickets though. You can't just think about the basketball team. You got to think about the business as well. So if I'm the owner, I want a team that's competitive. But if Embiid can get me to a second round exit, and by adding James Harden, I'm still getting a second round exit, then give me something else for James Harden. Can I get a guy that's as good as Drew Holiday to team up with Embiid like we teamed up with Giannis? Like, is Embiid good enough to do what Giannis and Olajuwon and Dirk did? Look at the supporting cast they had. They didn't have another max player, right? They went and got Drew Holiday and Middleton. Middleton is a fringe all-star. Drew Holiday is a fringe all-star, not a superstar, not a max player, right? Olajuwon had Vernon Maxwell one year and Kenny Smith, and then the next year he had Drexler, but neither one of those was max because they weren't all-stars no more.
Right?
Can you do that with Embiid? Can you say, well, maybe James Harden is not the answer? Let's trade him. I'd rather have somebody like I don't know, name another guard that's on a Drew Holiday level. Can you get? I don't know. Can you get a? I don't know.
Drew Holiday level. Man, that's...
Could you get Buddy Hield? And like let's say you trade James Harden to Indiana right now for Buddy Hield and that Tyrese. Rookie shooter they got. Now Tyrese and
Benedict Mathurin.
Nah, they ain't gonna get him up. But shoot, if they dumb enough, heck yeah. If I can get Buddy Hield and Benedict Mathurin, oh heck yeah, I'll pull that trigger right now.
You had to throw some picks in there too. Well, you probably like.
Nah, I don't even. Nope, don't even want the picks. Give me that's the pick. Benedict Mathurin was a first round pick. That's the pick. Give me Benedict and give me Buddy Hield. I give you James Harden right now.
You saying keep Embiid, make the trade for Harden, and see how that works?
Yeah, I'm trading Harden this summer. Yeah, I'm trading Harden this summer. Don't even want him.
Yeah, you know what? I think Harden is going to be another Melo, another CP3, one of those guys that just doesn't reach that point. He'll be great. He'll have the numbers. He'll have the career numbers. He's got the MVP.
I'd rather have Melo right now. Of course, you'd rather have the champion. Yeah. I'd rather have Melo right now. If I could have Melo helping Embiid out right now, I'll take Melo's 18 he can give me at age 37. Yeah, I'll take his 18 points in the playoffs. I would pick Carmelo right now. Oh man, you ain't got to play 82 games. You could I could just pick you up right before the playoffs. You can play about 15 games and get ready for the playoffs. Man, I'll be calling Carmelo a phone right now if I was any team going to the playoffs.
It's actually kind of criminal that nobody hit his phone. Maybe it's more to maybe he just hasn't answered.
Nah. Melo messing with Farrakhan, and they had to get him about it.
And he had a walk-in ring too, and Lakers just
Yeah,
messed that
yeah,
away.
yeah, yeah. He hollering at Farrakhan, man. He believed the same stuff Kyrie believes. So
Mm.
yes, yeah,
Yeah, but I think I
yeah.
think I think Philly they win though. But
They
I
definitely
like
get it.
Sacramento. I like Sacramento right now.
You like Sacramento? I like them too, but you like them to do what?
I like them
Make
to
it to the
hang in there.
conference final? No,
Yeah, I
no,
like
no,
them to
no.
make it to the conference finals.
But you don't understand how the NBA operate.
They owe them one for from what 2004.
They don't owe them nothing. Look, they premeditate who they want to represent. So and it ain't Sacramento. So
So
Sacramento
who
will
gonna be
not
in the
be in that
West?
conference.
You think Denver and who? Phoenix, Dallas? I'm gonna be honest. I
It's
don't even
kind of
think
hard. It's
Denver
kind
make
of
it to
hard
the
to say
conference
in the
finals.
West, man. It's kind of hard to say in the West, but I wouldn't rule out the Warriors because they starting to play a little bit better and they about to get Steph back.
And
So
this is around
like
the same time last year they got them back.
yeah. So when I make my picks, I always go off who I think is playing good basketball and who I think the NBA wants to advance, right? Because
Hmm.
9 times out of 10 they're going to get what they want, unless a player just out or a team just outperform and they can't fix it the way they want to fix it. So
Yeah,
I actually believe they want the Warriors to advance. I believe they want Denver to advance as well. Um, so I could see a Warriors Denver conference final and a Bucks um Boston conference final as well.
mm. I have it because I don't want to throw Phoenix in there yet because it's only been 2 games. You know what I'm saying? They still got the depth problem that they need to address, which they've been picking up kind of. They've been picking up people here and there. Rumors of them trying to get Derrick Rose on a buyout. Um, but I do believe the Warriors will be back. Um, but I just don't believe in Denver. I don't
Yeah,
believe in Denver.
it's kind of hard to, but they stacked though. But we're gonna end it here. We just hit an hour, man. We'll catch y'all on the next episode, man. I appreciate y'all hanging out with us, man, and we'll hit you next time. Peace.